And it's Deals Revealed, the top restaurant news, sales, listings, and franchise opportunities from We Sell Restaurants, the nation's largest restaurant brokerage firm. I'm Robin Gagnon.
And I'm Rob Morrison, and we're bringing you the biggest news of the week. Whether you're looking to buy, sell, or even join our brand as a franchisee, this is the place to be.
All right, we're going to cover it all. Restaurant news, insider tips, new listings. We're going to tell you what's moving in the marketplace. So drop your comments drop your questions or comments in the comments section, and we'll answer them live.
Yeah, if you're watching live, please say hello. Let us know where you're tuning in from. And if you're catching one of our replays, just type replay in the comments so we know that you stopped by.
All right, ready to go?
Yeah.
Let's talk about what's happening in the restaurant marketplace. Some of the top insights of the week. Are you ready?
I'm ready for this. I know one person in our office, Angela, who is very happy about the fact that pumpkin spice, Robin, is back in August. It's 90 plus degrees outside, and pumpkin spice already showing up on menus.
It's crazy, right? And it happens earlier and earlier every year. It's like Halloween. Krispy Kreme rolled out autumn collection this month. Pure Green brought back the pumpkin spice smoothie and oatmeal.
It's a lot. So why does a restaurant buyer care that pumpkin spice is back in August?
Well, these seasonal offerings can be an inexpensive traffic driver. You're not building a new kitchen, you're not adding major labor, you're giving customers a reason to come back now instead of next month.
Yeah, and then, as we always say, that limited time, right? Mm-hmm. It creates that sense of urgency.
Right. So when you evaluate a restaurant for sale, look at whether that owner has a seasonal promotional calendar. If not, that's an untapped opportunity for a buyer.
All right. The seller sees a flat sales line. The buyer sees promotional windows that haven't been used yet.
I love it. Yeah, exactly. And the strongest brands, they're not waiting for a season, right? They're going out there and creating
That's right. All right. Let's talk about seasonal. Speaking of seasonal, football season, campus moving in deals. Some seasons you create, as you said. The next one shows up, whether you're ready for it or not.
All right. These restaurants, they're running promotions around campus move-in and football season, one of the biggest traffic windows between now and the holidays.
Yeah. So what actually changes in late August?
Well, these students, they're going back to school.
Yeah.
College towns, parents arrive for move-in weekend. Football, it changes everything about how you eat on Saturday and Sunday.
That's right. So you're talking about group orders, takeout, wings. Pizza, bar traffic.
Exactly. And buyers, that's why it's important to understand the rhythm of the location. A restaurant near a university may not have a 12 even months of sales.
Yeah. So if you look at annual revenue, could miss a slow summer followed by a huge fall.
Right. And even a fall they're not taking advantage of today. So, listen, seeing that business over time doesn't make it a bad business. It can just mean that there's some seasonal opportunity. So buyers need to understand the cycle before the purchase.
And brokers need to explain that to them, right? Ask for monthly profit and loss statements rather than just the annuals.
Yeah, look at 12 months. So at least 12 months of sales, and it's so easy to get from a POS system today. It's nothing.
Mm-hmm. All right. So let's talk about the beverage wars going nuclear.
I want to know what that means.
All right. So we know when customers are showing up. Now let's talk about what they're buying, because it's not just food.
It's the drinks, Rob. And the numbers are just crazy big and hard to ignore. And we're not talking about drinks like the typical, alcohol drink. We're talking about just drinks. Tell us about some of them.
Well, with crazy names, McDonald's launching the Red Bull Dragonberry Energizer nationwide last week, August 17th, marking the first move into the energy drink category.
Listen, when McDonald's goes all in, you know how important the category is.
Yeah, but the big question is why now? Though they've been around for a while.
Yeah, but these beverage and snack-focused chains grew nearly 10% in 2024 compared with 1.4% for burger-focused chains. So McDonald's is now saying, wait a minute, that drink category, that's roughly $100 billion across markets.
Right. It's a big, significant gap that you need to pay attention to.
Yeah, these beverages, man, talk about margin, lower food costs, quick service, less pressure on the kitchen, right? You're not running a lot of equipment to get a drink out.
Yeah, and it helps explain the buyer's interest in coffee, smoothies, boba, still a thing, juice, and now, as we talked about, these energy concepts.
And they can have smaller footprints, right? Simpler staffing, lower build-out requirements. Everything's like less pressure than a full-service restaurant.
Yeah. The competition for drive-through locations reinforces it. 7 Brew and Dutch Brothers, couple of companies even battling over access to a group of former restaurant sites.
Just got Franchise Times, 7 Brews on the cover. It's a thing. Tells you how valuable beverage-focused real estate has become.
So the takeaway here is pretty simple. Buyers should not overlook beverage concepts, and existing owners should look closely at their existing drink menus. Could be one of the more simple ways to improve sales and margin without changing the kitchen.
And we have a customer that just added the, what's it called? Dirty something to all the dirty drinks to everyone crumble, right?
Yeah.
They just added in the capacity for all these drink menu everywhere nationwide.
I unknowingly ate or drank one of those things last week. It was good.
Okay.
It was good. I didn't know that's what I was ordering.
Yeah, okay. So now we're going to move on to the top listings. The top new listings are going back to Arizona, North Carolina, and Colorado because opportunities range from a low-rent franchise in Mesa to a Raleigh restaurant approaching nearly $1 million in sales in a flexible second-generation space in Boulder County.
All right, 3 listings giving buyers very different entry points. One offers an established franchise with exceptionally low occupancy costs. Another bringing strong existing sales and a fully equipped restaurant operation. And the third gives a buyer the flexibility to continue the current concept or introduce something entirely new.
All right, listing 42915 Mesa, Arizona. It's represented by Tabby Hemphill. Listed for $99,000. It's fast casual. Franchise generated approximately $257,000 in annual sales. Operates super efficient, 1,125 square foot location. Monthly rent just $1,650. That's really good in Arizona. The restaurant has a hood system, grease trap, refrigeration, prep equipment, POS system. All the essential infrastructure is in place. Limited operating hours and a lean staffing model give a new owner opportunity to expand hours, catering, online ordering, and delivery.
All right, next up is listing 42881. It's in Raleigh, North Carolina, and it's represented by Paul Peterson, listed for $279,000. It's a turnkey pizza restaurant, and it generated nearly $950,000 in annual sales, operating from a 3,400 square foot location, seating for 74 there, beer and wine service, ample parking. The kitchen has everything you need, a couple of hood systems, pizza oven, fryers, range, walk-in cooler, extensive refrigeration, and additional equipment built to handle volume. A buyer can continue growing the existing pizza, delivery, and catering business, or just bring a new concept into that fully equipped space.
You know, I just noticed Paul's there on that listing by himself. He needs to add Mary Ann.
She's brand new.
I know. You've got to add her to the photo on the listing. Third opportunity, listing 42580 Longmont, California, represented by Bobby P. I'm never going after that name.
Yeah.
It's listed for $149,000, second generation beverage and donut shop. We just talked about this. Beverages generated $317,000 in annual sales. Again, right size, 1,500 square feet. That's manageable. Around 30 seats. Monthly rent $47.80, including CAM, and the lease includes a 5-year extension option. With a hood system, grease trap, walk-in cooler, refrigeration prep areas, and limited current operating hours, a new owner, they can continue that existing concept, convert the location for coffee, bakery, breakfast sandwiches, smoothies, or other fast casual concepts. And you know what? They could pump up the drinks inside that place.
Exactly right. So whether you're focused on keeping overhead low, stepping into an established restaurant with strong sales, or finding a flexible second-generation space for your next concept, these 3 listings offer very different ways to enter the restaurant business. Just visit ResaleRestaurants.com and get complete package. Just select that option, and you can review the confidential details and take the next step.
All right. So this week's seller insights. Love covering those. Straight out of the headlines, costs are still climbing across the board, and some sellers believe that means they can't put their business on the market right now.
That's right. The pressure is real. We feel it. Labor, double digits, food costs are up, swipe fees are up, insurance is up, everything. Beef in that category is up. Cattle inventory near its lowest level in decades. And rebuilding a herd, the things we learn about in this business, rebuilding a herd takes years, not months.
All right. So sellers see a softer margin on their books. They assume they might want to wait it out. That's a mistake. If you're waiting for commodity prices to normalize, you could be waiting 2 or 3 years while you're absorbing that squeeze on margin yourself.
Yeah. So here's what sellers should be understanding now. A commodity-driven dip is a market condition, not an operational failure. Every concept in your category is facing the same number, and a broker who knows how to present that context keeps you from discounting yourself before you ever reach a buyer.
Right, and the other side is timing, right? More than 8,000 restaurants closed in the first half of 2026, and a large share of those owners, they had a sellable business. They waited until they had no runway.
Closing and selling, completely different outcomes. Close and you still owe on the lease and the equipment. Sell and the lease transfers. The equipment transfers and you get paid for the build out and your cash flow.
Right, and the demand it's there. Market data is tracking more than 3,300 planned locations from emerging and regional brands this year. Someone's taking over that space either way. Get paid on your way out.
Exactly right. So the insight's simple. Sell from strength, not from exhaustion. The moment you're personally out of options, your leverage goes with it. Start the conversation a year earlier than you think you need to.
All right. Now we're going to switch gears and talk about top insights for buyers because earlier we talked about what the customers are buying. For buyers, there's another question that matters just as much. How are they buying it?
That's right. 1 million in restaurant sales can come from many different places, right? Dine-in, takeout, third-party delivery or catering, online ordering, even large group orders can all carry different costs.
Exactly. And so a restaurant that's relying heavily on third-party delivery, so they don't have the revenue, but commissions and packaging, it's going to take a big bite out of every order.
Every single one. Compare that with a restaurant generating more of its sales through direct ordering and catering or repeat dine-in customers, and the revenue could look similar, but the economics, very different.
And for a buyer, that sales channel mix can also show you where the opportunity is. Maybe they have strong dine-in traffic, but almost no catering. Plenty of delivery business, but very little online ordering.
All areas where a new owner may be able to grow sales without adding another location or completely changing the concept.
So when you're evaluating a restaurant, don't stop at total sales. Find out where the sales are coming from and what it costs to generate them. Because knowing how the customer gets to the sale can tell you just as much as the sales number itself.
Yep, and it can help you uncover hidden costs, spot the growth opportunities, and better understand what you're really buying. Those same factors show up in the deals we're highlighting this week, where experienced buyers stepped into established restaurants with strong foundations already in place.
All right, we're going to highlight 2 restaurant closings in St. George, Utah, and Ormond Beach, Florida. Different markets, different concepts, but a lot of commonalities because the sellers were moving on for reasons totally unrelated to performance, and the buyers already had experience.
All right, first is listing 33148 in St. George, Utah, represented by President and co-founder Eric Gagnon. We sell restaurants in Daytona. The seller was a multi-unit franchisee with more than 30 years in the restaurant business, and then rather than leaving the industry, he decided to consolidate his holdings into a single state and sell this location so he could focus on his capital and his attention on the rest of his portfolio.
So, this is really interesting because the buyer already knew the concept. He had worked for the brand roughly 2 decades ago. So he understood its systems, its standards, day-to-day operations. So he came back to what was familiar, something he already understood, this time as the owner. So Eric did all the work with the franchisor for approval, the lease assignment, financing, due diligence, moving everything through the closing table.
Good story there. And our second sale is listing 39354 right here in Ormond Beach, Florida, represented by Brittany Gates. We sell restaurants northeast Florida. The seller had personally built the restaurant from the ground up, from the equipment and layout to the operating systems. His reason for selling was very straightforward. He was ready to retire.
And the buyer came to the transaction with experience in restaurants, franchise management, and operations. So she saw this as an opportunity to build on an established business rather than start from scratch with existing infrastructure, operating history, and the customer base already in place. What did Brittany do? She guided that transaction from listing through closing, matched the opportunity with a buyer whose background fit the business.
Well done. And what these two deals show is that a restaurant sale doesn't always begin with a struggling business. One seller was consolidating a successful multi-state portfolio, while the other was retiring on his own terms. Both cases, experienced buyers saw value in acquiring an established operation rather than taking on the cost, the time, and uncertainty of building a restaurant from the ground up.
And that's where the right match really matters. With an experienced buyer meeting in a well-positioned restaurant, the transactions guided through diligence, financing, lease assignment, and approval, an established business can become the foundation for its next owner's plans.
All right, we have a few new hot listings we want to share with you this week. We're going to go to Georgia and Massachusetts. We're featuring a turnkey restaurant in Alpharetta with more than $638,000 in annual sales, and a Boston area franchise opportunity listed for under $50,000.
Oh, I want to hear more about that.
Mm-hmm.
These listings, two very different paths. One is a fully equipped second-generation restaurant that can be kept as the current concept or converted, while the other offers an established national franchise with long-term lease options and a history of strong sales.
All right, so first let's look at listing 42630. It's in Alpharetta, Georgia. It's represented by Jeff and Kim Height, and it's listed for $199,000. This turnkey Indian restaurant generates approximately $638,000 in annual sales, features seating for 150 inside. It's a big space. There's some patio seating there as well. There's a bar, beer and wine license, and a large event space with a stage. The commercial kitchen, extensively equipped with a hood system and grease trap, walk-in cooler and freezer, multiple cooking stations, and much more. Monthly occupancy of approximately $9,100. A buyer can continue the existing concept or bring in a new restaurant concept without starting a build-out from scratch.
All right, so the next listing, 42828, it's in Boston, Massachusetts, and it's represented by Steve and Cindy Weinbach, listed for just $49,000.
There you go.
Yeah, certified pre-owned Moe's franchise generated approximately $812,000 in 2025 sales and earnings of about $44,000. Think about that.
Mm-hmm.
You're almost buying dollar for dollar. In 24, sales exceeded $1.1 million with six-figure operator earnings. So we've got a 2,500 square foot restaurant with seating for 50, an established team, modern operating systems, great brands you're dealing with there, and a lease with terms and options through 2035.
Yeah, and Mexican food is always good.
Oh, yeah.
Any day of the week. Doesn't have to be just Tuesday. So whether you're looking for the flexibility of a fully equipped second-gen restaurant or the systems and brand recognition of an established franchise, these two opportunities give buyers very different ways to step into an operating restaurant.
And speaking of buyers stepping into an operating restaurant, let's move to our testimonials. This week's testimonials, and these are actually, we call them testimonials, they're actually right from our Google reviews. They talk about the ways in which our franchisees and agents are making a difference in these restaurant transactions. We're zeroing in on strong communications and brokers who stay involved from beginning to end.
All right, so we have a review here from Scott Tierbush, who worked with Doreen of We Sell Restaurants in Scottsdale, Arizona.
Oh, I've read this before. It's amazing.
All right, well, all he could say is, wow, Doreen is absolutely wonderful to work with. She keeps you informed every step of the way and is always available when you need her. Her communication, professionalism, and dedication are second to none. Doreen truly partners with her clients and makes sure you always know what to expect throughout the process. She's committed to your success and goes above and beyond to deliver exceptional service. I highly recommend Doreen to anyone looking for a knowledgeable, trustworthy, and reliable broker.
I was on the phone with Doreen last night and I shared that with her. It's such, her clients are just raving about her services, and it really speaks to the value of communication throughout the process. Listen, these transactions aren't easy. They have a lot of moving parts, and knowing what to expect while having someone available to answer the questions can make the experience much easier to navigate.
All right, another one. We got another one here. It's from Navin Sankara, who worked with Gary and Mike of We Sell Restaurants, Michigan, Farmington, and they purchased during the purchase of a business. This is what he had to say. We worked with Gary and Michael during our business purchase. They were very responsive. They worked with us during the whole process, and we highly recommend them.
I love hearing these. 2 different markets, same consistent message, staying responsive, keeping clients informed, remaining engaged with the transaction. It's all those important, I know critical parts really of helping buyers and sellers move from that very first conversation through closing with confidence. And for someone with restaurant or hospitality experience, providing that kind of guidance, guess what? Can be a business opportunity of their own.
Speaking
of
franchise opportunities and joining We Sell Restaurants, after everything we've covered today, let's ask a question. What if your next opportunity in the restaurant industry didn't involve buying another restaurant?
Think about this. The numbers we talked about earlier, more than 8,000 restaurants closed in the first half of this year. And at the same time, there were thousands of new locations in the pipeline from growing brands. That's movement. And every one of those transitions needs someone who knows how to handle it.
Yeah. So if you've spent years in restaurants or hospitality, you already understand operations and labor and leases and food cost and everything that makes a restaurant work. That experience translates directly into every kind of business.
Yeah, restaurant owners need experienced professionals when they're ready to sell. Buyers need guidance evaluating opportunities. Franchise brands, they need support when locations change hands. That specialist is a certified restaurant broker.
And boy, did we get a great reminder of what franchising can create earlier this week when Congressman Randy Fine visited our home office. He's one of the co-sponsors of the American Franchise Act, and he came to hear directly from franchise owners, our franchisees, about their experiences.
It was wonderful. He heard from Brittany Gates, who started right here in the home office, although 4 offices ago, as an entry-level assistant role. And today, Rob, she owns 2 territories. She's among our top performers nationally. He also heard from Deborah Sawyer, a multi-unit franchise owner, brought her daughter into the business, and Mel Berry Fiorelli, who left real estate and working for someone else to be her own boss.
Impressive people. Those stories show what the franchise model can look like in real life. People building equity, creating careers with room to grow, bringing family members into the business, and taking greater control of their own futures.
And that's why legislation like the American Franchise Act is important to the franchise community. Focuses on protecting the independence of local franchise owners and preserving the structure that allows entrepreneurs to own and operate their own businesses.
As a We Sell Restaurants franchise partner, you build a business helping buyers and sellers navigate restaurant transactions, from evaluating opportunities and marketing listings to negotiating deals and supporting the process through to the closing table.
And your day, it's always so different from restaurant operations. No inventory, no kitchen, no food costs, no late nights. I was at a conference this week and I was hearing about just all the different I-9 audits going on. No employees. You're connected to the restaurant industry, but you don't have those shifts, deliveries, closing the building at night, or the employees to deal with. We Sell Restaurants provides the training to become a certified restaurant broker with proven systems, restaurant-specific technology, marketing resources, lead generation tools, transaction support, and the backing of a national brand.
So if you're looking for a new way to use your restaurant or business experience and build something of your own, visit WeSellRestaurants.com/franchise to learn more about becoming a We Sell Restaurants franchise partner.
All right, so we just talked about becoming a certified restaurant broker. There's another side to our business, super important to franchise brands. Growth gets a lot of attention in franchising, but protecting the locations already in your system is just as important.
That's right. This year is making that case for us. More than 8,000 restaurants closed in the first half of 2026. At the same time, that thousands of new locations are in development from growing brands. Every closed unit inside a franchise system is lost royalty revenue. An empty building in a market you have to rebuild now from scratch.
Right. So we have to think about how that is going to allow us to help these franchisees, because they are under cost pressure. Labor, insurance, swipe fees, all of these things are pushing franchisees maybe towards an exit decision more so than a normal year.
Yeah, so when a franchisee decides it's time to sell, brand has a lot at stake. There's an operating restaurant, employees, customers, the royalty revenue, a lease, and the reputation of the concept in that market. Goal is not simply to find anyone willing to buy it. The goal is to find the right buyer and keep that location moving forward.
So the best brands have a strong resale strategy that makes a difference. Instead of waiting until an owner is frustrated, ready to close, or talking to buyers on their own, franchisors have a process in place that gives franchisees a clear path to exit.
And We Sell Restaurants becomes an extension of that process. Our team understands restaurants' financials and valuations, leases, confidentiality, qualifying the buyers, and the many moving pieces involved in transferring that operation. We focus exclusively on restaurants so we understand what makes these transactions unique.
And we also work within the requirements of the franchise system. That means understanding what to expect from a new operator, how candidates need to be qualified, what approvals are required, what has to happen before transfer moves forward.
And the benefit for the brand is that your development team doesn't have to become a resale department. They can stay focused on recruiting new franchisees and opening new locations, while the restaurant brokerage team manages the resale process for existing operators.
And that process starts well before closing. It includes positioning the business appropriately, marketing confidentially, identifying qualified prospects, helping buyers understand the opportunity, and keeping communication moving between the seller, buyer, landlord, lender, all these parties, and the franchise system.
Yeah, and done well, a resale protects much more than a single transaction. Keeps the location open, preserves royalty revenue, retains employees and customers, and transitions the restaurant to an operator who's prepared to carry that brand forward. So if your brand's looking for a more structured way to support franchise resales, visit WeSellRestaurants.com and select 4 franchisors to learn how We Sell Restaurants can take away the resale pain and free your team to focus on growth.
All roads lead back to WeSellRestaurants.com, don't they?
They do.
All right, that wraps up this week's top sales, listings, and franchise opportunities. If you're buying, selling, or exploring a career in restaurant brokerage, we would love to help you.
Yep, great deals move quickly. Click the link in the comments or visit the WeSellRestaurants.com to learn more.
If you enjoyed today's show, hit that thumbs up button. Share it with someone interested in restaurant ownership.
And follow our page so you never miss a new listing. We'll be back next Friday with more updates.
Have a great weekend, and remember, our name says it all. We Sell Restaurants.